One thing I was saying is that women can't teach this to men. It's because women don't know that men don't understand this language, and they wonder, why don't men use it? Well, I'm telling you right now, men don't speak this language. They're not aware of it. In fact, when men take my course, an entire world, as I said earlier, opens up to them. I mean, they're just like, man, it's everywhere. And all of a sudden they hear it in music, they see it in poetry, they see it in writing, they see it on TV, they see it on posters. Once you learn this language, guys, it is going to open you up to a brand new world, and it will empower you. Think of it like this, guys. You've got your left brain. That's your computer. Imagine having left and right. Now you're going to amplify. It's going to be more than twice as powerful. It's like it multiplies. I don't know if it's 6 times or 10 times more powerful. But you see both sides of the world, all right? So when women try to teach this to men, which women say, oh, good luck. And I'm like, well, why do you say that? Well, we've been trying to teach this to men for centuries. Men don't get it. That's because you're teaching it in a way that he can't get it. You have to teach it in his way first and slowly bring him over to understand the right brain language and to be aware of it. It is very challenging in the first 3 or 4 sessions. Men just start to open up to it and they start to see it. And at first they don't believe it. They're like, you've got to be kidding me. I've had men come back to me 3, 4, 5, 6 months and call me and say, Mike, you're not going to believe this, but blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, that's what I was telling you. So let's kind of go back to my buddy who had a great life, his wife. And I told him, I go, you really need to learn this because your wife's going to leave you. And he goes, he actually bursted out. I didn't say it very loud last time, but he said, did you not just hear me? My life's great. I got this perfect job. I've got the wife, 2 kids, 2-story home. He goes, I'm living my dream life. And I said, well, yeah, for you, but she's waiting for something. And guys, whether you are in a relationship, dating, or married, I'm telling you right now, there's something that women are waiting for. And you keep thinking, it's normal, it's actually healthy. You think from the left brain, the male brain, that you're going to pay for things and you're going to build her a big house and buy her a diamond ring and you're going to bring her roses. All this stuff is great. They love it. But it does not give them true, deep emotional fulfillment. If you can give her deep emotional fulfillment, that woman is going to cling to you and she's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. If you don't give it to her, if you do not learn what this is, she'll leave you. If she doesn't leave you physically by divorcing you, she will leave you mentally and emotionally and sexually. And I know right now there's a lot of men saying, that's what's going on in my relationship. I can't tell you how many men have came to me after they've gotten divorced for the second time. And they're like, I don't get it. I've taken all the courses. I've taken all the love and relationship. I had one client bring a stack after the 5th session. A doctor slammed it on the table. It was home study courses. It was a signed autograph from a very famous author, which I'm not going to say right now. He goes, I thought I got it, Michael, but I understand. I was hearing what my left brain was hearing. I wasn't hearing what they were saying. I was like, exactly. That's the point of this course. Nobody is teaching men how to do this. So no matter how many books you read, in fact, I'll tell you what, you take this course right now, you can then go back to those courses, whether you attend them in person or audio or book, and you will suddenly see something new and something different that's always been right there. Women understand it, but the male brain doesn't. So let me go back to my buddy. He calls me 2.5 years later, and he goes, you're not going to believe this. She's leaving me. And I was like, well, I told you. And so we started going through the lessons over the phone. And he goes, man, that makes so much sense. And he started to get it. And then we got to the caveman brain and how our mating system for both men and women is in the smaller brain, et cetera, et cetera. And how for women it goes to the right brain, for men it connects to the left brain, et cetera, et cetera. And he suddenly goes, and I said to him, I go, I'm going to be honest with you. When men communicate to women, women don't understand you. They just learn to smile and nod. And as one girl said to me, I asked her, why do you do that? She goes, because we learned that if we ask, well, what does that mean? Men get really mad. And men do. And I'm going to go into a quick story here in a second. But what I told him was, women literally feel after a couple months, couple years and years that they literally are living with a stranger. It's like, I don't know this guy. Because we don't communicate in a way that women can deeply understand mentally or emotionally. How many times have you came home to your wife or girlfriend and she innocently said, how was your day? And women, I know you've said this a lot. And so she says, how was your day? And the guy, the husband or the boyfriend says, it was great. It was awesome. I had a great day. It was okay. It was fine. I'm telling you right now, guys, women, because the way they process, they go left to right. Her left brain goes, Oh, I understand. But her right brain is always asking a deeper question, which is the emotional spiritual brain's job. Well, what does that really mean? Or what's a deeper meaning of that? Or some form of those two questions. When you walk in the door and say, my day was great, other men will clearly understand you because we're communicating the same language. Men have a highly developed visual language. We had to because in the caveman days, you couldn't say, hey, the deer's over there. The deer's going to run and the saber-toothed tiger's going to come and eat you. So you had to be quiet. So we had to have these very micro movements in our face and our body language that women don't have. So if there's 5 guys in the room and you say, my day was awesome, all the other guys are cool, right on, because they can feel it. Whereas a woman can't feel it emotionally. She can't relate to what you're saying. And so what do most women do? They'll say, well, what does that mean? And they'll say, it doesn't mean anything. And she goes, well, how was your day? And it's like, well, what do you want? Well, why are you digging? And she's like, and so the guy goes, it was great. It was fine. It was awesome. What do you want from me? And so then a huge argument starts. And it's simply because we communicate differently, we process differently, and we understand and relate differently. This course is going to help you smooth out so many arguments and so many fights, and it's going to lead you into connecting emotionally and bonding and more sex and more love and more pleasure. Okay? So basically the benefits are this. You're going to save, guys, you're going to save so much money. I mean, literally, as I alluded to earlier, there is a technique that you can buy her an $8, $12 ring, and when you learn how to do this, in fact, if you buy this course, we might turn this into a CD package, DVD package. I'm going to put it in there. All right. It will. She will hold. I'll give you that story. I was dating a girl years ago, and I did this technique. I taught it to a class. We did a class of like 15 guys, and the very next day, her and I went to Santa Cruz. And I thought, whoa, there's all these little cute little rings, these little, on these tables. They were selling them. And I was like, oh, let's get some rings, matching rings. And I put mine on, and then I went to put hers on, and I pulled it back, and I went through the technique. Now, again, it's not a technique. It's like learning a language. It's learning how to communicate in her language in the way that she can relate to, connect to mentally and emotionally and understand. All right? About a month later, I did the same workshop, and as I was going through the technique and teaching guys how to communicate and express their emotions in a way that she can relate to and connect to, I looked at her ring and I'm like, well, what happened to that $800 ring that guy bought you? And she goes, I gave it to my niece. I go, you gave an $800 ring to your 8-year-old niece? I go, why? She goes, well, it was meaningless. It didn't mean anything to me. And I said, well, why do you keep that little $12 ring about you? And she went like this. She said, oh, it has meaning. It's meaningful to me. She was protecting it with her life. That's valuable. I guarantee you that ring is more valuable than a $2 million ring that you just give to her and say, I love you, here you go. All right? So, I'm kind of wrapping up here, but all right, here's another one that's going to help men and women. I was in Mill Valley, California, getting my haircut in a nice salon, and I was talking to my haircutter about what I do. And she called her other haircutter over. She was a model and a haircutter, and we started talking. She goes, oh, this is really interesting. And I was talking about how women speak the internal language that gives them mental stimulation and emotional fulfillment. And she goes, yes, that's why I divorced my ex-husband, because he refused to do it. No, that's not quite. She goes, what do you mean? And so I went more in depth in how men communicate, how women communicate, and how our mating systems are wired, which is the third piece that I'm going to go into. I said to her, I go, and so she said, well, that's why I divorced my ex-husband. That's why I was so mean to him. And she said, and that's why I'm currently punishing my boyfriend. I'm like, well, why? She goes, because I figure the more I hurt him, the more I punish him, eventually he'll get off his lazy ass and start to do this, because this form of communication does take effort. Guys, women think you're being lazy, but you're not. You're not even, and this is what I said to her. I go, now do you realize that not only they're not being lazy, they're not even aware of this form of language and that you're hurting men for no reason? And her and the other haircutter are just kind of like, whoa. And they felt a sense of guilt. But ladies, I understand why you're doing it, because you're not getting love. And after you make love, you can see that he's feeling emotional fulfillment and love and content. This course is going to answer the problems between men and women forever. And again, it's for married couples dating and also single guys. So right there is where I'm going to end for this piece.